Hello everyone, welcome back. It's time for another Kaguya-Sama reaction. This time it's Season 3, Episode 12. And I am filled with both anticipation and some apprehension. I'd sort of questioned an episode, maybe a couple of episodes ago, how long will this series go? And I gotta say, this season it's been starting to feel very like it might be wrapping up. Just because of all of the progress that sort of characters are making, and the development they've been getting, all that sort of stuff. But more so with the cliffhanger that we were left on last episode, it seems like there's even more reason for me to think that it's sort of really pushing things to a head sooner, with if Shirogane is going to be leaving school. I already knew to some extent that, the series obviously had to be bounded. It was sort of based on this school premise, and, it was unlikely that it was going to persist longer than school. But we did have sort of an extra year at that time. And it seems we might not get that now. With Shirogane, his plans to study overseas, and in fact leaving school earlier than planned, than expected, and with the two main characters it seems poised to, finally get past their inner, crap, and all of this stuff which has been holding them back, that kind of resolves the whole premise of the show, doesn't it? It's Kaguya-Sama, Love is War, or Kaguya-Sama wa kokura se tai. But if that part of the show... So it seems like the main premise of the show is almost being resolved at this point. This thing between the two main characters. Even some of our side characters have been getting some amount of development. Ishigami has come a long way from where we first met him. So you could see this as being his arc resolving itself here. But I don't want to go into the episode with too much of a gloomy outlook. It's been a great show, and while I'll be sad if it's ending here, I'll still be happy to ride along with them through to it. So very quickly, what happened last episode? We saw that Shirogane did develop those balloon skills, just as we've seen. It's pretty standard for his character. He puts in work, he develops skills. Chika develops more PTSD from training him, and in the end he comes out, adds another proficiency to his list. Speaking of Chika, she's currently distracted by a mystery, the mystery of the stolen balloons. So currently is distracted enough to not get in the way of Shinomiya and Shirogane. And speaking of those two, they had possibly one of the best days that Shinomiya has experienced for a while. Just managing to have fun, with Shirogane. Shirogane presumably too focused on other things. I mean, maybe he had some intention, hoping that Shinomiya would confess. Probably that's still the goal, is like, if she can confess, better, but he's also been prepared to confess himself, and probably doesn't have too much time to keep, messing around anymore. So I found that kind of emotional to think about. Just, for one, I always like Shinomiya to have these sort of wins, because she tortures herself so much, and it just felt nice for her to be able to have this day where she could just, enjoy it. And then some, sadness at the end that, I could almost imagine her world falling down around her in that last scene. What value all of her games, in light of the news that she's just received now? It's quite shocking, so we'll get to see what happens there. Our boy Ishigami, though, he's had some good luck. Good luck in that he confessed accidentally without actually intending to, but it still triggered enough. That wasn't his goal at the time, which meant he was able to go through with the confession completely nonchalantly and with far more confidence than he probably would have if he was actually trying to confess. And it forced Tsubame to start thinking about him a different way, in which initially she was going to just reject him, but then, upon further thought, realized that she doesn't know him that well. She knows him at a certain level, based on how she's interacted with him so far, but she realized that there are, many other layers to him, and before rejecting him, she really decides that she wants to find out more about him. So I think that's good. I think that's a healthy way to deal with things. But that said, I'm not sure how much of a focus he's going to get this episode, because I think this one is really going to be focusing on our main characters. So let's get into it. Anyway, just my usual reminder that these are full-length timer-based reactions, which means that you will need to get your own copy of the show to sync up and watch alongside me. I will be showing just small amounts of the video and the audio just to help you sync up, and I'll also give you a countdown as we start. So I'm starting on the first frame, which I guess is Shinomiya's calves. That's just been sitting on my other screen for the past few minutes while I was doing my introduction. But anyway, this is the start of the video, Season 3, Episode 12. I'm watching on Crunchyroll, and I will be pressing play in 3, 2, 1, now.
俺は1年飛び級で海外に留学する。
Early admission, huh? It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
何はともあれ、まずはおめでとうございます。これはとてもすごいことですよ。
There's like a... That's sad. I'm sure that he was obviously hoping for more of a reaction. Probably has no idea how much what's going through her head at the moment. I don't know whether I'm just projecting it, but it sounded like the VA did a good job of making her sound like her voice sounded just slightly off. With the fake cheerfulness. Kaguya wants to confess, part 2. Actually, I just realized the significance of that as well. She usually keeps away from Hayasako. In public, I mean. The young women over there might be... Wow. Well bred. Being rather docile now, and it's creeping me out. Kazukashi. Mm-hmm. The development. Ultra romantic top secret plan. That would be super impressive. Also incredibly dangerous. She can't help it. It's so built in that she can't help it, no matter how important it is. That's simple. The 5 W's. Okay. Non-specific. This isn't a romantic comedy that's entered filler mode. Nope, this is endgame. That will work. Make it clear what you're saying. Zero entertainment value. Come on, that's not bad. For Shinomiya to admit anything and be straightforward about it. Although I suppose there is a bit more on the line, so maybe she does want to go something a bit more deep. Don't do that.
海外に行かないでなんて絶対言えないでしょ。私が無神経でした。告白絶対成功させましょう。
Kaguya wants to confess part 3. I'm concerned about her ability to fire the arrow while undergoing this turmoil of emotion. This track is always so sad.
告白不可能じゃない。
Hopefully things are going okay.
使ってください。
驚きの気配り力。
Well done, Ishigami. Maybe there's a corpse buried under? That's right, he came up with that whole
そんなことないよ。
weird flower plan.
ちょっと意外なだけで。だから、それに
I'll be your buffer. Was this back during
意
Chile?
外と真面目で気配りさ。
So this one doesn't drop its flowers, is that?
「もう少しだけ時間が欲しいの。
Think he would have given you more time. Yeah?
返事何のことだろう。そうか、花見の話か。
Oh my god!
手紙は少しずれていた。
Well, at least he didn't give like a crazy short time period. Just sudden backflip. I wish I could still do backflips. I'm so lazy and old. That's right, their class or their group was doing a... Oh, it's coming. Yep, that's it. I mean, it was true, even if that wasn't what you meant to do at the time. Oh, Ishigami. It doesn't matter, you just keep being you. And fangirls. Come on, Shinomiya, focus. Oh no. Focus. Completely unperturbed. Good. I'm glad that wasn't a more risky shot. It must be him. That's why he's not here, right? Who is messing with the presidents? I missed it. Did she call it Kintama? Because it was a big golden ball. Claiming the culture festival. Hmm. Chica is loving this. They're hooked.
様は行かなくていいんですか？
Whoever sent this paper itself. Mhm.
火が燃え広がらないように
Fire resistant paper.
使っただけ。
Please don't go there with her.
藤原の時間といったところでしょうか。中で誰かが言ってた言葉よね。
Oh yeah.
なるほど。 本当に一人でできますか？ 強くなりましたね。
You must feel so proud. Too much responsibility. He wouldn't have just left. He'd see this whole... Oh my god, they're so frustrating. Small glitch in her plan. Uh-oh. I love the animation. I remembered the callback to this. Oh right, The point where his gesture suddenly starts to wear off, and he starts feeling like an idiot. Keep it together! Oh! I wonder if this is the last time that I'll see this ending. Like if next episode they're gonna do the thing where they skip the opening, but then play the music during the end. Well, I'm feeling pretty okay at the moment. Normally, like, the most I feel I can do is just one episode. Because trying to react for any longer than 20 minutes tends to make my mind wander, but I think I'll just go ahead and watch the next one. So I'm just going to take... I'm just going to take a 5-minute break, and then I'll jump into the next episode. Okay, just make sure that I'm recording again. Yes. So I'm just going to talk really quickly about that episode, but I'll give more thoughts on the pair of episodes afterwards, I think. So we got to see resolution to Ishigami's story. That was good. That was good. Even though Ishigami is still kind of just, again, slightly out of phase with what's actually going on, he still managed to show his good qualities. His thoughtfulness in bringing the warm clothing, his knowledge about the flowers, and, again, like in this case, he can exhibit that knowledge without, it being creepy. There's always a thin line between, like, creepy and, a grand gesture which is romantic. But, if he's speaking to an interested person, then it's a whole different thing. She's already hanging out with him, and it can be very interesting to hear someone, quite endearing to hear someone speak so enthusiastically about something that they know about. A bit more creepy to be receiving flowers from someone anonymously. That's weird. But yeah, I think this is a good position. And even though he still didn't quite understand what she was talking about when she was asking for like a time frame, I'm glad that he didn't accidentally... I'm glad that the mistake didn't end up in him saying, oh, I need not, by tomorrow, sort of thing, because then it would have sounded pushy. Obviously, he's prepared to give her time. He's quite reasonable, I think. For him, he certainly wouldn't want to push her. And fortunately, she, on the other hand, also doesn't want to feel like she's just, stringing him along either. So this works well. She can be a lot more comfortable in the way that they can interact. She doesn't feel like she's being pushed, but she also knows, that she can't just let it go forever. So I think this works out well. And in the meantime, they'll get to hang out. So, well done, Ishigami. On the lighting of the bonfire, I'm glad that it was a much lower risk shot than I thought. I was just really concerned that if she was going to have so many things going through her mind that she'd have trouble replicating her perfect shot. And we have Shirogane coming out with the grand gestures again, and starting to get sabotaged by his own embarrassment. But I'm glad that he went far enough to get to this point, and we are now set up with these two characters aimed directly at each other. Finally. No more talking, let's get on to episode 13. And it would appear that it starts on the opening. So my question about which, opening and ending we'd get seems to be answered. They aren't saving the opening for later. We're going to get it at the start of the episode. Season 3, episode 13, starting in 3, 2, 1, play. Recording, sound, yes. I think that was good planning. Shirogane getting, managing to keep Chika distracted. That's a lot of effort that he put in. It's also not surprising. He is not lazy by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, maybe his plans don't tend to be as crazy or complicated as Shinamiya's, but he is also smart brain. That's why he's got an acceptance letter to Stanford. They're so cute. He's so thoughtful. Back to the start of the show. Let's convey their feelings to someone who's also hiding their true self. Terrifying. because suddenly you've realized something different. Yes. Give her the cloak. Say it! A process of enduring pain. What a life to live. You were raised that way. No! Son of a... Screw you, Crunchyroll. It's definitely not my internet. Sorry, friggin' Crunchyroll crashed before. What a way to spoil the moment. This is so sad though. Her life and the way she's tortured herself. Out loud. Say it. Oh my god. Say it. You came here prepared to. He put in so much effort. That was incredible. So he has been planning it for a while. It's really cute seeing their family all sitting together checking out the results. Sense of style is stunted back in 8th grade. Yes. So you managed to plan to give Fujiwara a distraction? His memory. The planning. Not only that, but he made it well for... He made things good for everyone else. So he still feels like he's not worthy to be able to ask himself. Well, that was a pretty good way of expressing your feeling. Cute. Is she... No wonder she was so tired and... Wow. Oh, but it's wonderful. Something more pressing and important than making you confess first. Will you go? That's... Well, that's pretty much it. Hey, this is 3 seasons of... 3 seasons of development. Removing all obstacles in my path. I like her voice. The way it's sort of so high-pitched and just slightly faster. Oh, Maki. Yeah, don't forget your friend. Wean yourself off, you know? Hmm. Oh. So thoughtful. I mean, but we knew that about him already. Yeah, actually, that's the thing that she wanted so much herself. Oh my gosh, she's still... She's completely in deep. Oh my god, they found a friggin' secret. Oh my god. Well, we had known a couple of seasons ago that there were. Oh wait, last season. There were many secret places in the school, like from wartime or something. It's happening. She got blasted by what she saw. I did like this song as well. I can't friggin' believe it. This is so silly, why am I crying? Come on. She kissed you on top of the tower. She's back in cute mode. Up to that point. Ayasaka's mind is being blown.
Kaguya no make.
Oh no. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess that's fair.
かぐや様は告らせたいのですね。
Good way to end it with a name drop. I guess I'm a little surprised that they did end it, or that the last episode was framed with the opening and ending just like fairly normally. Oh my gosh, all these characters. This must be a few months later then, no? A new game? And some things never change. Well, that's it. I feel happy just because it was a really good. There's been a great show. Really good couple of episodes. Good amount of progress and payoff on all of the different sort of character development that we've had and the storylines and all of this. It's been building up to now. Finally, these two big dummies express their feelings for each other. It didn't, maybe go the way that either of them fully expected, but they got there, and we were rewarded with a we were rewarded with a kiss at the end. This, between both the previous episode and this one, or even the whole, culture festival arc, was an amazing thing to see them both coming to the realization that they needed to stop playing their games, that their mind games have been a fun premise for the show and have caused, given us 3 seasons worth of entertainment. But there was a great payoff in seeing them finally reach that level of development to know that, if I want this, I need to move forward and I need to let go of some of these things, this pride or this worry or etc. Or I'm going to be sitting here stewing and causing myself endless suffering. For what? And so it was fun to see this payoff. They both grew and in this case were rewarded. Maybe it doesn't always happen that way, but in this show, damn it, I'm expecting a happy end. So I'm glad that we got that happy ending in this. And I'd been very curious as to how are they going to resolve this issue of him going to a different school. Not just a different school, actually, going overseas. Because that's a huge thing. Even with the confession, I was thinking there's going to be something bittersweet about it. Because realizing and finally admitting your feelings and then knowing that you're going to have to separate in just a few months' time, at the very least be physically separated, even if you try the long distance thing. That's still, a heck of a strain to put on a relationship. So was it gonna, be bittersweet? How do they deal with that? But he's thinking ahead. They're both extremely intelligent people, so they can get into Stanford. He sorted out the recommendation letter, which will help Shinami immensely, I imagine. And this is good. This is something that because otherwise what was she going to do? You could say, maybe she shouldn't go just, going overseas, just chasing a boy, but she's spent a long time with him, and she really wants to explore, so for her own sake, I think this is a good thing, that she tries to find something that isn't the path that she felt like her family had already just laid out for her. Her father obviously hasn't been treating her super well, and just the fact that she felt like she's been performing supremely well at school, but in a life which just seemed like a kind of suffering. She said it in this episode. She always felt like, life was just pain to be endured or something like that. What's the exact words? I always believed that life was just a process of enduring pain. What a terrible way to... How sad was her life? And that makes me feel, even more, angry about her father. And, well, I guess that's just sort of how her family is, isn't it? It's the Shinami way, not just limited to her father, but obviously her father is the sort of perpetrator immediately as far as she's concerned. Yeah, such a cold, calculating way of living, and that it's so good that not just Shirogane, but the whole rest of the council, and the way that her life ended up being enriched. We got so much for our other characters as well. Ishigami, as I said before, he's grown so much. So proud of that boy. And I'm so glad that he managed to get, he's finally winning after also going through his own suffering. And I'm so glad that he met someone who is such a nice person, and was willing to look past, the rumors that were swirling around Ishigami. Miko has benefited from joining the council as well, because, who knows how her life might have turned out. Maybe not terribly, but I think, again, her life is enriched by having joined the council, gotten to see Chika up close, and just getting to meet people and just form different thoughts and interact with people differently, all that sort of stuff. And as far as her relationship with Ishigami is concerned, that was also very sweet, that he thought of her. There's something about them which I guess is always going to make them just grind up against each other. They're just going to clash. That's maybe just how their personalities are, or something, but it was nice for them to share that moment. He was thoughtful enough to record the thing for her because he knew that she'd wanted it so much, but her responsibilities ended up making her, pick a patrolling shift at, the worst time. And so she got to enjoy that, and we got to see a genuine smile as well. The most the most wholesome interaction between them before they returned to bickering again later. Even our character Maki, who, we only got to meet this season, had a little progress at the end. Just a reminder that that Kashiwagi is her friend, and, boyfriends and whatever else, they were still friends before the boyfriend entered the picture. I know that some people don't like Maki, but yes, her way of thinking is pretty terrible, and the way that her moods swing back and forth is also kind of bad, but, as a character, I think she was hilarious. Really great addition to this season. So, to wrap up, because I don't want to just keep rambling and trailing off, that's not a good way for the video to end. Hello, surprise, it's me. Me from the future, relative to the video that this is being tacked onto the end of, because it turns out that, yes, I was going to ramble for a bit. That actually I was going to sit in silence in my thoughts for about 15 minutes, and then ramble on and off without knowing where I was going before recording, finish recording like a closing for that video later. And then suddenly, somehow, 3 years passed. And here I am in 2026, deciding that I really wanted to not leave this just sitting there. Because actually, I have my reactions to Season 3, Episode 9, 10, and 11. They've all been uploaded since 2023. And set to private so that I was planning to, schedule them to be released shortly, one after the other, once I had finished putting together my reaction for 12 and 13. Time slips past very easily, and suddenly I've lost 3 years somehow. But I really, really wanted to... Well, I wanted to watch the movie. And then every time I think of watching the movie, I think, you haven't finished what you were going to do with your reactions yet. So procrastinating for 3 years is pretty spectacular and kind of ridiculous. And I decided that I did actually want to finish it. For me, if for nothing else. It's not like I've got, a bunch of people eagerly waiting for my reactions or anything, but I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. If you say that you want to do something, then you should finish it. And besides, this was kind of fun. Season 3 was great. It was really good. A lot of character development. Rewatching the end again just before recording this got me just as emotional, if not more. It's hard to say whether you'd feel more or less emotional on a rewatch. Because on a rewatch you already know what's going to happen. But on the flip side, on a rewatch, you do know what's going to happen, and you've felt it more times before, which means you've sort of got this weight of everything, like it keeps stacking up, kind of, if that makes any sense. Because every time I watch through the whole series, and this isn't specific to Kaguya-Sama, but, to any show that I feel worthwhile rewatching, is that more of it sticks, more of it connects together. And so, some of the emotions and stuff that it can evoke can become even more effective than they were the first time. But speaking of this finale specifically, it was a good way of definitely giving us progress while still managing to maintain the game of, them not really confessing to each other. I feel like I need to put air quotes there, because this was the most forward they've been, but yes, technically they still haven't confessed to each other. Yeah, I really like the characters. I like all of the different character arcs they've had. I like the development. And I'm really eager to see what happens, in the movie. Now that I'll finally be able to watch it after I finish rendering this one. And actually, moreover, there's still 2 episodes after the movie that I heard about when? Early at the start of this year. Just when I started really feeling like, man, how has it been 3 years that you've just been putting off watching the movie because you haven't finished doing this? And then suddenly I started hearing there's two new episodes, and I don't know whether they're sort of just standalone or whether, I assume that the movie continues things after season 3, and then do those 2 episodes continue things after the movie, or are they just sort of random extra material? Or in any case, I'm eager to watch. I'm eager to watch all of this extra stuff that I've been putting off for a while. Anyway, my apologies that it took this long to get this finally out. But if you've watched this, thank you. Thank you very much. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video, which will be the reaction to the movie. I'm not sure how I will do it. I mean, chances are I'm going to want to watch all 4 of them. We'll see. Anyway, whatever, that's irrelevant. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.